My name is Host Eric. I am the host of Talking with Famous People, the internet's only YouTube channel. So, congratulations. You've not made it here yet, but this is pre-gratulations. I'm congratulating you in advance for eventually making it here. Because it's not easy to find the internet's only YouTube channel. That's not a claim very many people make, you know. Obviously, it's a claim that only one person can make. And that person is me. Me and my YouTube channel are the only YouTube channel on the internet in the whole world. So, that's reason enough right there to watch. I've got a question for you. Did the ancients decode reality? This is a bit of a YouTube hole that I've fallen into a few times recently. Videos titled "Did the Ancients Decode Reality" or some such. And I just want to say regarding that it's a very silly notion. Because when they say, like, the ancients decoded reality, well, there's one thing I was watching, I was talking about the Hermetic principles, one of which is all is mind, and another which is as above, so below. Well, obviously, that does not comprise decoding anything. And it shows how one wrong way that people think. Hi, simple girl. Rachel's fine. She seems to have passed it last night. So, problem over, I guess. She's sleeping soundly. Hi there, Alex. Well, that's why she went to the hospital, I've never seen Rachel in such a state before. But, unlike most medical stuff, this played out as well as it could have. Like, we took her to the hospital. They provided immediate relief for the problem, apparently just by giving her Tylenol, which reduced the swelling and let her pee. And then they gave this all to her in an IV because she couldn't keep stuff down. And, no, freak out. So they gave her these Tylenol, Flomax in the IV, and also some antibiotics because they showed a slightly elevated white blood cell count. They wanted to make sure she doesn't have an infection. And then they sent her home with a prescription that I could get today. And bada bing, bada boom. problem solved and not like the kind of problem that has lasting impacts. It was a small kidney stone, and yeah, well, that's what I was telling Delilah yesterday on the phone. Trouble, get out of there. Trouble, no, that is not your bed. No. Yeah, she's fine. No, I just filled out a very brief form, and that was it. She may have filled out more forms later. I don't know. But the point is, that's as good as a medical emergency can possibly play out. You know, she went there. She got immediate relief to the worst of the pain, and then she got immediate answers to exactly what was going on. Like, yes, it is a kidney stone, and it's a small one. This should be able to pass no problem. And she got drugs that she needed in an IV, and then they sent her home fine. You know, Shannon, we we have already done so, but not since I started the stream. Um, so anyway, back to the ancients decoded reality stuff. This is really a good indication of how people will interpret vagaries to mean what they want them to mean. Like, all is mind. And they interpret it to mean the ancients understood us to be in a simulation of some sort in which reality was rendered for each of us independently as we encountered it rather than having the permanency that we would normally afford to it, right? Of course, all is mind does not mean that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they do have sonic. They have a sonic uh, tool that they use to hit it with vibrations and it'll break it up. But Rachel's was small, and so she didn't need anything like that. And by all accounts, talking to her this morning, it's already passed. She's passed it already. So the Flomax and stuff, I think helped. I am going to put that on in the background. Thank you for reminding me. I was being annoyed earlier with the long break between the two games. Like, okay, how long are you gonna have commercials and nonsense before you actually show the basketball game? So then I started watching cartoons. I watched the new what's it called? Hell's Paradise. I watched the new Hell's Paradise. I've got Iowa State as national champion on a couple of my brackets, or at least one of them. Let me see who all my national champions are. Anyway, obviously, all is mind may be consistent with that contemporary idea of simulation theory. But it is not the case that we should interpret it to mean they meant that, which is it's just a silly notion. And then the idea that, of as above, so below, I like that expression. I've I've always liked it. And it is the case. So my number one bracket of all 25 brackets is, of course, this does not surprise me at all, Rachel. Rachel number four. The second best is host Eric 20, but it had Gonzaga as the national champion, so that's toast. Anyway, Arizona, Gonzaga, Illinois, Michigan, Yukon, Nebraska, St. John's, Michigan, Duke, Arizona, Florida, Arizona, Iowa State, there they are. Kansas as a dark horse, Virginia, Purdue. Rachel's number three is Yukon, Michigan, Florida, Duke, Michigan State, Michigan, Florida, Michigan State, and Alabama. Those are all of the national champions I have, which means I have Iowa State exactly one time. Obviously, I don't have Kentucky as a national champion. Hi, Winston's mom. Yeah, they did. You look rough, man. Are you okay? Our Gazette. Well, that's an odd way to greet somebody. Almost like the way a deceptive provocateur would do so. I guess what you might call concern trolling. It's nice to have a name for something, you know. How's the car keeping up? The new car is working great. Um, it's got its pluses, its minuses. One plus, it's kind of a big plus. It has Bluetooth, so that makes it easy to listen to music on my phone and stuff. Yeah, those car problems were absolutely just delivering body blows to my mental well being for a long time. Well, we got Delilah's old car, which was just sitting at her stepmother's parents' house, and the plan was to eventually to junk it, but it's actually quite nice. It's called a Chevy Cruze. It's got 130,000 miles on it, but we only had to spend about a total of like maybe $2,500 to get it fully operational and registered and all that stuff. And I definitely believe we got more than that amount of car out of it. So, um, it's it feels like and is like in every way a rental car. I'm sure rental car companies have a lot of those. So this idea, as above, so below. What does everybody think that it means? I interpret it to mean that, like, whatever happens on a large scale also happens on a small scale in terms of architecture. And to some extent, that's true. Like, um, if you look for certain kinds of, say, fractals, you'll see them that they're scalar, that you'll see the same kinds of fractals at a very small level and at a very large level, right? So if you look at a galaxy, that I don't know if that qualifies as a fractal, but look at a galaxy, it's got a certain spiral to it. You'll see that same spiral in the shell of a sea creature or what have you. The problem with this idea, of course, is you're obviously cherry picking things that have the same architecture to them and ignoring everything that doesn't have the same architecture to it. So I think probably what it was meant at the time that it was said by the Hermetic principles, they probably meant whatever happens in the heavens, that also happens here on Earth. And of course, that's not true. Because they were very interested in things like, oh well, a comet's flying by, that means we're gonna win this battle or lose this battle, or um, there's an eclipse, that means a lot of stuff. Thanks for sharing that, show media. All right, so I need to bring up the chat on the TV. Concern trolling. Concern trolling demonstrates how important it is to have a term for something. So, without that term, if somebody is concern trolling, then you have to like you have to kind of explain what it is that's happening in terms of like, okay, well, you're not being honest, you're not really concerned about me. And then they go, oh yes I am, of course I am, I care a lot about other people. Whereas if you have a term like concern trolling, you say, well, you're just concern trolling, and that ends that just ends the whole thing, right? I splurged at 3 wine coolers while doing yard work. The heat is going to kill me. Well, you know, usually getting some exercise while doing yard work seems like a good, healthy thing to do. Wine coolers or no. I was a late bloomer. I'm still a late bloomer. I'm still waiting to bloom. Oh, dear God, when will I bloom? Still waiting for my first menstrual cycle. I don't know how we had Delilah. From what I understand, I'm not reproductively viable until then. Firecrotch is waiting. Oh, Kentucky missed a shot. Not that I'm rooting for Kentucky, but the USC women won yesterday, and that's wonderful. Happy about it. But, oh, she was an immaculate conception? Um, what was I going to say? Oh, the USC women won yesterday, and that's wonderful. But guess who they won the right to play in the next round? South Carolina. Uh-oh. We got no chance against South Carolina. I if if somehow SC could pull up an upset against South Carolina, it would be literally like the upset of the millennium. It would be a bigger upset than the U.S. beating the Russians in hockey that one time. Pussycat, please remove that. It's going to be interpreted incorrectly by somebody. I mean, South Carolina is there are three teams in college women's basketball that have a legit shot at winning the national championship. It's going to be either UConn, South Carolina, or UCLA. One of those three teams will win the national championship in women's college basketball. South Carolina or UConn are the two most likely to win. Um, Understood. I know you didn't mean it like that. Uh, so USC tomorrow is gonna get, or I think it's tomorrow, is gonna get absolutely stomped. They are just gonna get stomped by a much bigger, much stronger, just much better South Carolina team without Juju Watkins. But see, even if we had Juju Watkins this year, and that would make a big difference, obviously. But we still don't have the bigs that we had last year. Do I prefer women's sports or men's sports? Uh, I like, for example, in the World Cup or the Olympics, I like them both equally. Tennis as well. I feel like they're both equally interesting. Basketball, I prefer, like, I'll watch the men's tournament even though I don't uh, know much about or care at all about almost any of the teams, just because it's an upset rich environment typically, and it's super exciting as a sporting event in general. This year was pretty upset free, really. Like, it was pretty chalky, which kind of made it a little bit more dull. And so far, there's also been not a lot of buzzer beaters or anything. With women's college basketball, I will only watch the USC women when they're playing. Maybe I'll watch the national championship game. Probably I will. Maybe I'll watch the Final Four. When it gets down to, because women's college basketball is way chalkier than men's college basketball. There's a bigger gap between the haves and have-nots. I think NIL is mitigating the upsets or Cinderella stories from a few years ago. Um, I don't know. I it, it's hard to say. Like, if we're gonna do some kind of analysis about the impact of NIL on upsets, then we'd have to look at it for a while, like 5, 10 years or something. Basketball is like watching paint dry. Well, simple girl, in general, I agree. Basketball is my least favorite sport to watch in the sense that I never watch pro basketball. Like, never. Not even the finals. I won't watch pro basketball. No, we're not going to the Athletics opening day, but we are going to see the Athletics August, and we'll probably go once before then. Cricket, you can't stand. Well, I'm a huge baseball fan, and when it comes to like the women's sports, men's sports thing, I don't watch softball at all. But are there any sports that I just watch the women's version and not the men's version? Hmm. Well, in general, I'm not a huge fan of the girly sports like gymnastics or rhythmic gymnastics, ice skating. I'm not a big fan of those performative sports. Yeah, let's get some objective criteria in here. I guess they do have objective criteria. It's just IDK. Bowling's another boring one. Yeah, Rachel's fine. It seems that she passed the kidney stone last night. You don't mind hockey and football? I think hockey is exemplary in the following terms, and that other sports should try to be more like hockey in this way. Hockey does not stop to like change players, right? They have to change players while the game's going on without any stopping. Hockey has about the right amount of penalties. You rarely see ticky tack shit called in hockey. It's got to be pretty obvious, and often, most games only have a few power plays per game, which, so when there is a penalty, it actually kind of makes things more exciting for a while. That's very smart, right? And no show media. That's the kind of thing that YouTube's gonna be like, this is questionable channel. I'm removing that. I can't remove it. Can you remove that, please? Bowling's fun to participate in. Yeah, I think bowling's fun to participate in too. I think that it's good when a sport doesn't make you too sore afterwards. So you can just kind of play it occasionally. Most sports are not like that. If you just, as a 54-year-old man, say, "Oh, I'm going to do a little rock climbing out of the blue today," even even if you successfully and safely do so, you're going to be really sore the next day because you don't use those muscles very much. Bowling, you can kind of be fine. Just get kind of a lighter ball and it'll be fine. Can't really think of any other sport like that. Do you think there was an ancient civilization before us? I do. But, or at the very least, I think that the academically accepted timeline of from Stone Age, Maya year to Bronze Age to Iron Age, etc. That that timeline is missing something significant. That before Stone Age, there was also something significant that that we don't really know anything about, but um, that was it more advanced than like Stone Age civilizations as we understand them using only stone tools. Our religion, Hinduism, says we live in lifeline timeline cycles, and we are in the fourth one right now. Okay, well, I mean, how did they count them? So, regarding the title, perhaps you're here because of the title of the live stream, Mask. The things I was referring to in particular were two Hermetic principles. That is, as above, so below, and all is mind. I was saying how these kinds of vagaries get interpreted by contemporary people through contemporary lens to mean what they want it to mean, instead of just saying, well, that's a cool old saying, but the ancients did not mean by that we are in a simulation and reality is rendered on each person's consciousness or as each person's consciousness independently, and there's not some kind of permanence to the physical object laden world that 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 exists after we're not observing. Of course, that's not what those olden times people meant. They did not mean that. Did the ancients play soccer? I don't know. I don't know. So, what did the ancients mean when they said all is mind? Well, I don't know. Like, ancients mean like the ancient Greeks, or the Sumerians, Fertile Crescent people, maybe. I think it's funny that term, everybody knows that term, right? Like, maybe a large percentage of people, if you ask the right question, something like, where where was the cradle of civilization? What's another word for the cradle of civilization, or the place where that was? I bet you a high percentage of people would say the Fertile Crescent. And you'd be, yeah, that's exactly right. The Fertile Crescent. I mean, is there anybody here who has not heard the term Fertile Crescent before? I think it's maybe where the Babylonians were. What civilization was at the Fertile Crescent? Let's Google it. Do I believe in the Anunnaki story? No. I mean, is that like ancient alien stuff? No. I don't believe in aliens. Which civilization was at the Fertile Crescent? I mean, I do think that it's possible that there are, yeah, so both the Sumerians and the Babylonians and the Assyrians, not to mention the Akkadians, which I've never heard of before, all four of those civilizations, they were all at the Fertile Crescent. Have you seen those guys slapping each other? Oh, that's a horrible sport. That just makes me just go, oh, no more, please. Well, that's what conventional archaeological history would have us believe, is that prior to the evidence that we found of Stone Age level civilizations, that prior to that was just more primitive. That that there was no, say, civilization restart period where some global cataclysm knocked out a civilization that was, say, maybe a Bronze Age, right? Or maybe the Iron Age, and then it got wiped out, and people had to start over with like Stone Age. There's no good reason to not believe that. the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily how it is, but I am saying that there's as good a reason to believe that as not. The, the, the status quo interpretation we that it works like I articulated, the earliest stuff we find is the earliest stuff there is not there's not more reason mechanically to prefer that understanding than to prefer that there was a preceding civilization. I mean, I like boxing personally, Booty Cat, but that's very different than that slap sport, which is just uh, taking turns, um, hitting somebody in the face. That's just I don't know. I don't find it entertaining at all. Maybe I shouldn't find boxing entertaining. It's like I was saying about fishing the other day. I have a very conflicted relationship with it. Um, I was raised fishing. I spent a lot of time fishing as a kid with my dad, and sometimes like my friends would come with me on vacation, not more than one at a time, and then I've got a lot of like embedded wholesomeness feelings associated with it, I guess. But then the actuality of it is, I don't like to see any animal suffering. And it's true that I'm not sure why this is true, but it's true that it's least bothersome with a fish. But it's still like, I don't know. I don't really think I can bring myself to inflict suffering on another creature for my entertainment anymore. On the other hand, it's all part of the circle of life. The infliction of suffering is an odd moral question because most people would agree that inflicting pain, willfully inflicting physical pain, is always going to be morally impermissible when dealing with people. Let's leave animals aside for a second. But that that punishments that are inflicting some other kind of distress, such as imprisonment, are morally acceptable because they are proportionate responses to the individual's rights violating behavior. And by violating the rights of another, that individual forfeited some rights, etc. But it's super relaxing. Fishing is it's like the single most relaxing thing I can think of. Every time I go fishing, I find it to be very soothing. I don't like killing spiders either. If there's a big one, Rachel will want me to kill it, and I'll kill it because I don't want to try to get it outside necessarily. And Like the other day, I killed a wasp, and I was very upset for a little bit because I hadn't killed it cleanly, and I couldn't find it, like to finish it off. Then I did find it, and I killed it clean. At that point, I finished it off. Because even though sometimes I feel like I have to kill things, I don't want them to suffer. Even flies. I'm very sensitive these days. I used to be not so sensitive, but now I am. I think it's probably because of my deep sense of connection with the Fertile Crescent, home to Sumer, Babylonia, Assyria, and Akkad. It's considered the cradle of civilization. Yeah, that was the other expression I used. Remember when I said everyone knows the term Fertile Crescent? And I was like, well, I think I said cradle of civilization. I said cradle of something. I think it was civilization. Anyway, those two terms they go together like peanut butter and jelly. Fertile Crescent, cradle of civilization. And it's a very sexy way to talk to your wife. I'm going to turn your Fertile Crescent into the cradle of civilization. What? That's right, baby. Prepare to advance to the Bronze Age. These rich floodplains of the Euphrates River bear nutrients upon which my crops will thrive. It's a little bit of history class fun, huh? Everybody remember that? Remember this? That's what Liza Minnelli says. So what am I going to do today on the stream? I've got a few things I need to do that I should do and that maybe I will do. It's hard to say. Babylonians. There ain't no more Babylonians around these days. Same with the Assyrians. If you tried to take a train to Assyria, well, you end up in Syria, and you wouldn't want to do that. I hear Jared, but I don't see him. You thought I was a Babylonian? That kind of Babylonian, yes. You're against all blood sports for their own entertainment. I mean, I'm not opposed to boxing because, of course, with boxing, at least you got two human beings, who are both consenting to and wanting to engage in this. And it's not humans exploiting animals. Now the most important thing is Jews? I don't know what that means. So obviously, I'm a lot more engaged these days with the NI conspiracy stuff / NI explanation. I saw some video about the science of the science, quote unquote, of why it's good to touch trees. Is it good to touch trees? I mean, it's not bad to touch them, unless they're the kind of tree with like the poisonous sap on it. I'm not getting afraid. There's this tree that they're around sometimes. It's called the blinding tree. So you get any of its sap in your eyes, you'll go blind. And it kind of burns your skin too. So you gotta wash it off right away. When they talk about like hugging trees, they never mention that you shouldn't hug that tree. What about those trees with the big thorns on them? Should you hug that? No. Well, it depends on the tree as to whether I want to hug it, obviously. That's my point here. The idea that in general it's good to hug trees is really missing the point. You gotta decide what kind of trees you want to hug. Are you a whore? Do you just hug any old tree that will pay you to do it? Like this tree, I like it because it's so big. But you know what else about it? It's kind of dusty. If I were to hug it, I'd get a little dust on me. You know what? Let's go get a little dust on ourselves. Let's let's cut loose for once, okay? Let's stop being this stodgy old man who doesn't want to get any dust on it. Let's do it. Let's get a little dust on us. It's the royal we. Me and you guys are us. Oh, you're not too dusty. You're fine. You know what? You're not even dusty at all. I was slandering you when I said you had dust on you. I don't even know what I was thinking. Oh no! I knocked this over. It's fine. It's a wonderful tree. I'm glad I hugged it. You know, regarding that subject in general, what did Hitler's ways produce exactly the opposite outcome that he wanted, right? How's Rachel doing? She's fine. She appears to have passed it, and yeah, she's fine. The best case scenario for any kind of like medical emergency like that is that it's something temporary, it goes away quickly, has no lasting harm, is not indicative of some larger problem, and requires no additional medical attention. That's as good as anybody can hope for in any kind of medical event like that. Yeah, I put my beer down and I paid the price when I kicked it over. I guess I put it in exactly the wrong spot. I wish they weren't doing this like weed whacking right now. but it is kind of weed whacking season. The thing is, also, last year around the time, I think I'm going to plant some seeds today. Last year around this time, I do kind of want to get some new seeds. I'll plant some seeds today. Last year I planted around this time, maybe even a little earlier. But then there was a late frost. And I said, in fact, it was hail. Yeah, there was hail and then freezing temperatures, or vice versa. Lost a couple of the seedlings. Okay, enough of the weed whacking already. It is Sunday. I get it. And people are going to come out on Sunday and whack weeds. People love whacking weeds. Yeah, no, it's the right time to do weed whacking. In the morning and the evening, especially at night, I whack weed in the club when they have a fight. People around here do it as like good fire prevention protocol or something. I get it, but I don't really want to just go like make it not have its natural brush and stuff. Maybe if it got super dry, I'd be like, maybe I should do a little fire prevention stuff. But we're not really at a big fire risk at all because of the huge fires that happened right before we moved here. All right, weed whacker, you win. I'm going back inside the house. If you want to whack weeds, then whack with me. Let's whack some weeds. GBG. So now we no longer have the sound of weed whack in the background. Weed whack, patty tack, give a dog a bone. All right, so what are we going to do? We might end up going back outside because I do have some things I need to do chore-wise and such. I could do kitchen chores, which I am very much not inclined to do. But I could also capture another video type, please. I listened to that last one in the car, and I'm displeased with how I'm doing it and the pauses and stuff. And I'm gonna do it better next time. I've got a better plan of approach here. I will record my response to each of the clips separately. So what that means is I'll record me watching the clip, and then I'll stop, make a separate recording of me responding to the clip, because that way I can listen to it after I watch it. It's a challenge. No, the pause issue that I'm talking about, Fly Guy, and in fact, pauses in my speech have a lot to do with this as well, is the fact that I'm trying to manage the whole thing as one recording, right? Like I'm trying to put all the pieces in place so that I can switch in real time to the various things, but it's too much for me to pay attention to, and it ends up being creating all these pauses. And it'd just be more efficient, probably just as fast, for me to just record each of the chunks by itself and then stitch them together. And then I can trim off the edges nice and tight as well. And when I do respond to a thing, I'll be able to have, if I want to, multiple takes of my response to that one clip. So each of them will be cleaner, and the whole thing will be a lot better. And it probably won't take much longer, if at all longer, really, because when I make those one take ones, I often have multiple false starts partway through. I have to stop halfway through. I have to stop, start over, etc. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I need to decide on a good video to do. Maybe I should do those two girls, ENFP and INTJ. Maybe I should do those two next. Good morning, Rachel, darling. Everything still good? I think it would be a good idea to do those two girls next. Let me capture that right now. Let me put it here. I had your live stream on while Carrot played the Type Police video. Your cadence was the same, and sometimes it sounded like we were listening to the same video. Well, obviously, when I'm just responding on the fly like this, it's going to be kind of choppy compared to if I practice saying something a few times. When I do have multiple chances to execute my commentary on a given clip, then the one I keep will be a lot more fluid and determinate because I'll know more clearly where exactly I'm going when I start talking. I'll have in my head a more solid set of bullet points because it is the case that before I start making those attempts, I've already started to think about how I'm going to respond to a given thing. Obviously, when I clip it out, I've got ideas that this part is worth commentary because I have this to say about it. All right, let me put ENFP and INTJ. What's it called? Anybody know what it's called? Oh, you are seeing new names. Okay, well, let me check that out actually first. I didn't even look. Let me check that out first. Prospectors panel? Oh, no, that's not that. Um, let's see. Let's see. Okay, I have to go. I have to make my disclaimers and stuff in the beginning of Type Police. I understand that. Um, they only have 504 subs, though. That's why I don't want to do that necessarily. Um, yeah, this is Type Police. I need to make my disclaimers at the beginning. Well, I don't see any so far, any suggestions, but I didn't leave out Dave Matthews Band. I said at the beginning, Podicat, if you're still here, that we're excluding bands like Dave Matthews Band that nobody could conceivably think is good. No correct person could conceivably think is good. Well, I don't find any such comments, Winston's mom. So I don't I don't know what you're looking at, but I don't see any comments like that. Thanks for your well wishes, simple girl. What's going on here? You're welcome. Okay, enough of that. Yeah, I don't think your shitty SI helps either. You would not. I really like Fly Guy's idea though. Like, yeah, I've known this for a long time that you seem to go an extremely long time between going pee. Like, you'll go to bed, sleep, be in bed for like 12 hours or plus, and then you'll get up and pee. All right, love who? Thank you. You know what type he self identifies as? That's gonna annoy me, this 4 subtypes. There. Guarantee you that. There it is. It's only 5 minutes long. I think he probably is that, but I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make you feel bad, darling. Yeah, I think he is that. What is that sound? Where is it coming from? All around. Oh, I'm gonna get copyright claimed by Billy Bragg again. Okay. So we are going to start recording, and then we're going to listen to this claptrap.
The 4 ENTP subtypes. Number 1, the polymath. The obvious examples here are Da Vinci and Benjamin Franklin. They had seemingly unbounded minds, being gifted artists, philosophers, scientists, architects, politicians, diplomats, musicians, businessmen, and so on. A principle gleaned in one area of life has a lot of transferable potential, either in a literal way or making it abstract. You don't just gain knowledge from one field or another, but also less common insight that emerges from the combination of both. So this endless inquiry and study very much compounds. This is a flattering title in many respects, but as with all paths that are extreme in life, there is a cost. This type of ENTP, while being very skilled and
Hmm.
knowledgeable in many areas,
Let's
won't
see.
always have the evidence and results that will reflect their level of insight and ability. Da Vinci, on his deathbed, despite all his achievements, was still lamenting the fact that he didn't feel like he'd actually done much of work in his life. That is a regular refrain for this kind of ENTP. This subtype is unlikely to be mistyped, but if they are, it's usually for ENFPs. Number two, the dismantler. This type of ENTP wants to strip away bias. Be thankful I didn't call this subtype the stripper, though maybe ENTPs would like that. Maybe I'll call it that. These are the most analytical ENTPs, and there are two sides to this trait. One is the most scientific one. They're simply treating that unblemished, pure kind of way. It's very principled. The other
So,
side is the challenging
it,
one. Even the more introverted ENTPs will still be more extroverted than
okay,
INTP, let's
we'll
say. So
go
this
down there
ENTP,
sometime
like
before
Franklin,
then.
still wants to interact
Whenever you're
socially.
ready to
Let's find
go,
out what
we
this
can
person
go.
believes and then challenge it. Let's find out what the rules are in this environment and see if I can find a loophole. I went with the word dismantler because they're more concerned with breaking things down than building them. Yes, they may point out better ways things can be done, but they are not going to be the ones implementing that. These ENTPs are great stress testers. Think of it like those hackers you bring in to test the strength of your security, or an advisor who will find problems in your plan. Though it might
The
seem
thing is,
odd, I would put the Joker in this subtype as well. To me, he's
it
not attached to
these
fortune
might
or
be
fate simply because he likes that. It comes from
ways,
colonialism that
potential
the
ways
value
that
system,
ENTPs
or capitalism,
express,
or
right?
social contract can be dismantled if you really question it on a fundamental level. Therefore, any sense of order is artificial or has irrational underpinnings. This kind of ENTP can be mistyped as an INTP if they're more academic in their mind, or sometimes even INTJs and ENTJs because of their aggressive intellectualism. Have you ever wanted to talk to the 16 types? Well, now you can. On the Mind My Mind app, you can ask a question and get 16
Okay,
different
hurry
opinions.
up.
Let's give it a try. Okay, I'm going to say, I went on a date with someone recently. There was a spark, but also there wasn't anything bad. Should I go on a second date? ISTP, sounds like me. The politician. Politics is about people. Whichever way you slice it, it's a social game, especially in the modern age. This ENTP subtype has infinite fluidity. They can be all things to all people, should they wish. The type of politician has a negative connotation to it, but that isn't the whole story. It captures the neutrality and charm combination that this ENTP excels at. But this is also the archetype of the diplomat, the deal maker, the peacemaker. All ENTPs make connections between things.
Hmm.
This ENTP is a powerful bridge builder. The character of man's race.
So these might very well comprise different descriptions of an ENTP that resonate, right? But he's he's gonna have a fairly easy time defending himself here because he's not making any claims about the mechanics of the thing, right? He's not saying like subtypes. Oh, this one is, you know, the FE subtype, or this one is the MIA subtype. He's not indicating that any reason why they break into these four subtypes and not some others.
Big ideas and overextending themselves, sometimes with dire outcomes. This ENTP is measured, balanced, and controlled. They're the type of person who will randomly say that they made loads of money on some investment they pounced on, or have a successful bunch of side hustles, or reveal that last month they've been traveling to some exotic or dangerous place. But crucially, in combination with having a stable, settled life too. If the typical ENTP has the spirit of the nomad, this kind of ENTP has the spirit of someone with a stable house, but then a few holiday homes sprinkled around the globe. This subtype is not to be underestimated. Life, first and foremost, is a game of survival. These ENTPs are the ultimate survivors because they combine that typical ENTP invention and innovation with an avoidance of overly risky moves. In short, they make very few mistakes and are therefore very
Okay. Uh-huh. Well, that last one certainly did not sound anything like, like an ENTP. I'm gonna make sure this audio works.
Last night I turned $10,000 into $7,000. A total loss of $3K.
Okay.
Look like a quitter. Let's get that shit back.
Okay. Well, um, still getting your head around individuation. Oh, well, I mean, obviously for you it was muffled. I meant in the app where I was capturing that video. And yes, it was getting audio through the desktop audio. It's fine. How do you have so much free time? I'm retired more or less. And I don't plan to stay this way forever, but I am right now. So with Love Who, I could get another video of his potentially, but I suspect it's gonna be much the same, which is to say, maybe. Oh, I'd have to look. My assumption is there's not a understand the process video someplace that says here's why there are subtypes and or what it means to say that someone is a subtype. I suspect he's just we're talking about this video I just finished watching that this guy Love Who made about ENTPs. He talks about there being 4 subtypes. One of them is the dismantler, one of them is the polymath, one of them is the I forget. And then I didn't catch the name of the last one. I was looking at the screen when it was up there, and he only said it once. So anyhow, it may the thing about subtypes in general, the reason why this is actually going to be a fine thing to do is to say that is to explain the reality about subtypes. So there are I've explained this once before, but it was a long time ago. I'm trouble remembering the exact specs of it. But basically, like, okay, oh, right. So if you're in like a MMORPG and you've got characters. So let's say you've got multiple clerics. Well, the way clerics will differentiate from one another is each individual will make a series of branching choices. Like I'm going to focus on using the mace versus like I'm going to focus on using a flail. And so this person develops all of his mace skills, and the whole tree of mace skills starts to develop and what have you. And this guy, all the flails, and then a third guy, something else. But there's also, as they're doing the flail, he's also going to be common ground between the two. Like this one will be what we'll have focused on purification over healing, and same with this guy, right? So to the extent that you're talking about subtypes of clerics, you're just drawing circles around commonalities and just declaring them subtypes, but there's no good reason why the guys who have flails in common but purification not in common should be considered distinct subtypes, whereas vice versa, etc. You get what I'm saying? If if the differentiation among a certain type is, or within the group of a certain type, if differentiation within that is like differentiation within among clerics in a game, then any kind of subtypes is just you're drawing completely arbitrary distinctions and calling the fact that some clerics use flails 80% of the time and some use them 60% of the time, and there's a variety of things. You're just declaring it flail heavy subtype. But there's nothing implicit to the thing that makes them in the same group. On the other hand, you can talk about eggs. If you have some fried egg, if you have an egg, you could cook it in various ways. Sunny side up is distinct from over easy, is distinct from over medium, is distinct from over hard. You could also boil it, soft boiled to hard boiled. And each of those category of things is distinct fundamentally from the others. Some of them might be on a spectrum, like exactly when does it go from over easy to over medium is going to be a blurry boundary line. But the fact is, the distinction you're making between those things are genuine subtypes of cooked egg, right? In a way that the different kinds of clerics that you say, well, there's the kind of clerics who are more about turning undead than they are about purification, and if they also use flails, then maybe they're also, you call them flail undead clerics, whereas these ones use maces and they're also about undead, but they also don't wear defensive gear, so they have more agility or something. They're like monks. Um, you know, in that case, the circles you draw, you're choosing to pick out commonalities and draw a circle around it that actually does not represent a distinct subcategory. So, what happened?
No, I'm just sad.
Why are you sad?
Because I feel like yesterday was so annoying. Like,
Why was it annoying?
I don't know. I wish it was healthy and I feel stupid. Like,
Actually, it's okay. You had a medical problem. It worked out as well as any kind of
you're right.
medical problem that could possibly work out. You had a temporary problem that's ready immediate relief and a solution that works within 24 hours.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be any lasting problems, nor is it going to require any medical follow-up. And we couldn't ask for anything more than that,
You're right.
As good as it could have gotten. It's like the best experience with healthcare we've ever had.
They were really good, actually.
Yeah. So.
And like, they kept, apologizing for the wait and stuff, which was really nice. I expect ERs to be long anyway. That was one of the quickest, I don't know, for them saying that it was going to be a long wait, I felt it wasn't that bad.
It didn't seem like you were engaged enough for that long to me.
Oh.
It was the amount of time it took me to go to the store, take the groceries home, come back. That was about it,
Yeah, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no problem. The other great thing about it was not only did they give you relief when you got there, but you got a definitive, clear answer that articulated everything you needed to know about the problem, namely that it was a small kidney stone. Yes, that's what it was, and that it was of this size, indicating that this outcome was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then that outcome happened as predicted. Rarely in medicine do you get that much like complete solvency and satisfaction for anything.
And they, they saw a high blood count cell, so they're like, you could be getting an infection. We're gonna give you medicine for that too.
Yeah, we'll go to Vaughn's today and get it. Closes at 5. We need to leave here by, let's say, 3:30 at the
3:30?
latest.
Sure.
We could leave sooner if we wanted to.
Okay. Thanks, Alex. Hold fast. I think I'm feeling like everything today. Like yesterday, I couldn't do anything but focus on like the pain. It was just
I know, it was obvious you were in agony because of your SI, I never hear you moaning and groaning about any kind of ailments.
it's true.
So it was obvious that you were suffering.
Yeah, and it was like I thought at first it was just like you said, like I pulled something in my back, so I put the heating pad on and it wouldn't go away. And like the doctor said, he was like, I've heard that pain is as bad as pregnancy, and I was like, well, I don't know about that. Like, I've never had a kid, but it was painful.
So by duck face you mean like this, fly guy? Or do you
You gotta lift your chin a little.
or is it like this, like biting your lip because of the previous thing you said?
I thought duck face is like
That's duck face?
Is it?
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, that's what my mom calls duck face.
That obviously needs to be put away. Need to put that right there. I need to clean up right here. One of the many things I need to do. I mean, like, watching him, you can tell he's good with language, right? I mean, I think he's ISFP. Powerade is Coke, Gatorade is Pepsi. That's what I would guess. I think I know for some reason that Powerade is Coke. Your tiger shark jello shot personality type, you never complain about pain. Yeah, she's got super unconscious SI, so it's got to be pretty bad for her to notice it. Unlike me, my fourth slot is, if I'm uncomfortable or have an owie, believe me, everybody's gonna know about it. That'd be great, Fly Guy. I'm not sure if that's true, but maybe. We will find out. Yeah, I'm already getting comments on those videos like, you can't type somebody just by watching them. I already know that. I forgot to put the disclaimers in the beginning. I have to put the disclaimers this time, This is Type Police. I am just here, ultimately, to arrest somebody if they're very obviously not their type, and I can articulate very good reasons. Obviously, also, this is not typing somebody. If somebody wants to actually know what type they are, then they need to get actually typed by me. This is for entertainment purposes only. Well, good for Iowa State. that keeps alive my Iowa State national champion bracket. Thing is, my brackets, I think, across the board doing pretty good because I was quite chalky this year. Quite chalky indeed. All right, well, what are you gonna stand out here and fondle your cigarette, or are you gonna smoke it, Eric? Well, let me answer that question. A little bit of both. So I guess Rachel should still take the antibiotics, even though the kidney stone is passed, but she should not take the Flomax. I made a YT short saying a bunch of random slang words. Like, yeet me that skibbity. Yeet me that skibbity 6'7". From Ohio. Phantom tax. Already? Like that. But you shouldn't take the Flomax, right? Once she's past the kidney stone, should she? How does SE parent act like? Well, they like to do stuff. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean like checking shit off a list. It means like probably play a decent amount of video game. You know, it's kind of doing the things rather than consuming the things. But it's hard to say how SE Doms act. Just say it's best to say that they like to preserve their ability to be opportunistic. Yes, she had. Did you have an ultrasound or a CAT scan?
CT scan. I don't know if it's
That's
the same.
that's a CAT scan. So, yeah, she didn't have an ultrasound. She had a CAT scan.
Yeah.
And they said it was a small kidney stone.
Yep. So I learned that it was 5 millimeters, big, and that 7 millimeters or more, they would have had to have me keep the there and force it out, do something with me. And he said that 7 millimeters is the size of a pencil sharpener eraser. So mine was.
Well, that is pretty big.
Yeah.
A pencil eraser, you mean? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So the question is, should you still take the Flomax even though?
Yeah, I think I should.
Okay.
I don't know if I've passed it yet. I know I feel better, and I did see something in my pee yesterday, but I besides the Flomax, I do need to take the antibiotics, so we do have to go.
Yeah, I know. I'm not planning. I wasn't suggesting we not go. I was just wondering if you should still take the Flomax. I already understood that you should still take the antibiotics because if you had some kind of startup or high white blood cell counts are indicative of them responding to something, right?
Yeah.
Then better to take the antibiotics than to risk getting a kidney infection.
I know.
You're a baby, you want your prescriptions ASAP. Well, she just got up.
They're on lunch break right now. I just checked. They come back at 1:45. So.
She just got up and also There was no way for us to get it yesterday.
No. So they gave it to me before I left, as in like they actually like administered the drug to me before leaving. They put it in an IV and they put it, and then I had a pill for the antibiotics.
Pretty exciting stuff.
Crazy. Like I've heard about kidney stones and how painful they are. I just never experienced it before. And I didn't know what caused it really.
Yeah, I've heard that they're very painful as well. And it was very obvious yesterday that you were in a lot of pain. Kidney stones, kidney beans, kidney shaped pool.
I wonder who came up with the kidney shaped pool.
Well, I wonder if they probably shaped it before they named it.
Yeah?
Well, I don't know. The painting is supposed to depend on the shape of the stone. Oh, on the shape of the stone.
Oh, interesting.
Just be glad you didn't have a pyramid shaped
Yeah.
kidney stone, because those are the most painful because they're the most pointy. In the best case scenario, you get a nice smooth round one. I mean, it depends how much it's been weathered by erosion over time, Fly Guy. If it's been tumbled in the river of the urethra for a while, it gets round and smooth, and then it just comes right out. Apparently, women have a urethra too. I thought I would have said like, no, only men have a urethra. But I just think of my urethra as being the hollow tube inside of my penis.
So, like, would women's pee come out of their uterus?
I don't know where they came out of. Just somewhere down there, I guess. But it makes sense that obviously they must have some tube to get from the bladder to the outside world.
Yeah. Stay away, wasp.
Is it an actual like stone, like a little rock?
Mm-hmm. It's like crystallized
Pea?
mineral. Yeah, basically. Yeah, I know, like, it's just a lesson for everyone. Like, and like the advice that Eric gives: pee when you can.
Yeah. Usually the advice I give is poo when you can, but I agree it counts for peeing as well. Counts for peeing as well. Don't hold your pee. Poo when you can.
And even if you don't think you want to go, like I think having low SI, I might not feel when I have to go.
Yeah, probably not till much later than I feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Acacia.
Yeah, pee in a poo when you can.
Urethra Franklin.
Ruben, do you pee a lot because you have to go, or just as a routine like thing?
How do the 16 personalities fit into the 4 color types? Are you serial though?
I mean,
I guess he is serial though. Let's see.
Most people know the color personalities from the book Surrounded by Idiots. This is
How long is this one? 8 minutes, 38 seconds.
I drink a ton of coffee, and I don't know if it has anything to do with it too. But I don't know. I drink a ton of coffee. That's almost like the thing that I drink most during the day. Only thing I drink during the day.
Yeah.
Below the color personalities from the book
But
surrounded by a
it's also the case that.
four types. So that's like 4 times easier than usual. Red, blue.
Hold on. Let me get the audio fixed. God damn it.
Most people are a mixture of colors, and the same goes for the 16 types.
Oh, I know what the problem is. Never mind. You don't need this at all, probably. Let me fix it where it's supposed to be fixed. Oh, Eric, why are you such a schmeric all the time?
I prefer making fast decisions instead of waiting for consensus. They bring energy, direction, and momentum into any situation. Their direct style can also make them come across as blunt.
The volume's down on the video. Bum, 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 bum.
Is that the video when someone talks about combining colors for different types?
Yeah, it's called How the Personalities Fit into 4 Color Types. And away we go. These kind of mistakes, they're annoying things that happen when you're trying to make content like this.
Color personalities from the book surrounded by idiots. The system splits people into 4 types. So that's like 4 times easier than usual.
What?
Red, blue, yellow.
Getting it from this?
All the 16 types.
Are you serial?
Most people are a mixture of colors, and the same goes for the 16 types. Let's describe the 4 colors. Red. Red personalities are typically assertive, decisive, and driven. They like taking charge, cutting straight to the point, and getting things done fast. Reds thrive under pressure.
Ridiculous. There's no way for me to turn down the actual volume that I'm hearing without it impacting the desktop audio being recorded unless I actually turn down the volume on the TV. That's fine. I could turn down the volume on the TV. You're not going to get me like this, you scoundrel.
Most people know the color personalities from the book surrounded by idiots. The system splits people into 4 types. So that's like 4 times easier than usual. Red, blue, yellow, and green. I'm going to map all the 16 types onto these 4 colors. Most people are a mixture of colors, and the same goes for the 16 types. Let's describe the 4 colors. Red. Red personalities are typically assertive, decisive, and driven. They like taking charge, cutting straight to the point, and getting things done.
My TV has the opposite problem. My TV is raging loud and the volume is below 10. Well, I have an ongoing problem with the TV because when I forget to turn it off, it goes to sleep. Where if I'm not around the computer and the computer goes to sleep, then the TV goes to sleep. I'm 54. And when it does go to sleep, it is a smart TV, and it sometimes usually plays at some point anyway, some autoplay music for its screensaver activities. Well, the issue is, of course, I want to have the TV up loud enough that it's going to be loud enough for the loudest things I want to listen to, some of which are very quiet in their audio, right? And then the rest of the time, I will turn the volume down somewhere in some ways on the computer, either turn it down on the main speaker or turn it down on the given video or what have you. And obviously, when I have the speakers at like 40 something, which is like the most I need for even like the quietest YouTube video I want to watch. So then it autoplays this music. Well, obviously it's booming loud. That is not my advice, Puttycat. That was your advice. Mom, I just noticed I hold my pee a lot due to not having a place to go right away. And over time I peed more volume. Average is 12 ounces. I pee a quart like a doctor. I'm not watching it. What game is it? I mean, that's not just a phenomenon with SI polar or SE third, Ruben. I remember when I was a little kid, I don't do it so much now, but when I was a little kid, I used to I'd like have to go poo, but I didn't want to stop playing,
Yeah.
That was pretty common when I was a little kid, but not anymore.
So I think there were 50-50 split between red and yellow. They get both red impatience.
You lose the eye of the tiger when you have the bathroom dance debuff.
Why did I say yes to that?
Who has time to pee? Says
It's
Simple
true
Girl.
though. Like the nurse said, she was like, it's a problem within like the hospital community, especially with nurses, because like you have to go pee, but like your job is to help other people and to do it in an efficient time. So she said, she was like, yeah, it happens quite frequently, like with nurses. I actually don't think it's out. I'm starting to feel a little.
Okay, well, let me go to the bathroom and then we can go right now.
Okay.
Okay? I'm just gonna pee.
Yeah, take your time. It's true. As you pee, you do have to. Yeah, I'm feeling a little pressure. Yeah, the antibiotics are gonna help. The Flomax is gonna help too. Oh, that's a good idea. I'll take some Tylenol. They were giving me Tylenol yesterday.
They combine green conflict avoidance with blue perfectionism. ENTPs lead with fewer verbal fireworks. They are energetic, idea hungry, unpredictable, and socially stimulating. All very yellow things. However, underneath that charm can be a blade, competitive, provocative, and confrontational when bold. This is the verbal arsonist spark of them. They don't argue so much as harvest a conclusion for gold. So I'd say they're mainly yellow and partially red. They get the yellow inconsistency plus red.
This video is interesting about the colors and the different types. like he gave this one type a lot of one color, but only a small amount of another color. Like how do you gauge the percentage of a person's type and how much of a color they have?
It's extended conceptual preparation. ESFJ. Communicative, expressive, social, warm, community-driven, energizing, relationally weird. Relationally wired.
Does marijuana dehydrate you? I have been smoking like a chimney lately. I mean, I smoke like a. Interesting. Holding peat also affects the pelvic floor will weaken and then leak home. It's good to know. I didn't think. I don't know if like I haven't seen it yet. I'm not gonna tell you guys are gonna watch the video, so you'll see. But some types are only getting a small percentage of colors, while others are getting like half and half. I don't think I ever thought I was actually holding it though. Like I don't think I know when I have to go unless it's like real, a, like a big amount, and then like car trips, whatever. I think I'm fine if I hold it, but.
Generally dislike pressure and move through life intuitively with a deep sensitivity to how things feel. So the best match for NFTs is food. But as is often the case with
It's true, Fly Guy. Like I don't know. Yeah, it can be caused by dehydration too. Not just holding. Dehydration is part of it. Women tend to hold our emotions and trauma in our pelvic floor. Like tension and weekends. It's really a thing. I bet. Like today, like because I was in such pain yesterday, like physical pain, I like couldn't feel my like emotions really. And that's why like today I woke up and I just like started crying because like
Isaac is a gentle, adaptable, aesthetically sensitive, and generally peace-oriented.
I
Working food is the best fit for them. They take that food avoidance and multiply
It's
it
tough.
by autistic melancholy. ENTJ. ENTJs are assertive, strategic.
Cannabis doesn't fully dehydrate you; it's more cotton mouth rather than full body hydration.
So very red. But they do have an analytical and sometimes nerdy streak that is often overlooked. So I'd say they're mainly red.
Yeah, Keisha.
They have that red pushiness and degree perfectionism, which makes them
I don't know where my
INTJs operate with precision.
where I put. I'm gonna ask Eric if he can roll some joints for me because I can't find my
Confrontational side that gives them an edge compared with any softer blues. So they have a hint of
I had my
describe it just like it's described.
cartridge.
Oh, it's over, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Turn that off. Oops. Turn this off. There we go. Cannabis doesn't dehydrate you. Like Alex said, it may give you dry mouth, but that's not the same thing as dehydrating you. I'll tell you what dehydrates you. Running a marathon. That's what. You want to run out of water in your body? Try running a marathon. You don't want to become a leaker? I'm not a leaker at all. But I do have to pee a lot. I need to go see a doctor about my diabetes. I am very convinced that that's what's going on because I definitely see an improvement after my diet changed. But it's still not like me being able to sleep all the way through the night or anything. So I need to go see a doctor. I'll go get that diabetes test done again before I go see the doctor. How about a sneaker in a pot on the dot? He is staying with one of those gals from the stream who went to jail. I talked to him a while back. Who are you talking about? I find the older I get, the more I pee. Well, I didn't really notice it that much until I don't remember exactly when, but who are we talking about? You're hungry? Well, we're going to Oakhurst, so I'll get some food there. Women tend to hold our emotions and trauma in our pelvic floor, like tension, and it weakens it. It's really a thing. Huh. Oh, are you talking about that guy who punched your dog?
There's someone who punched a dog?
Wait, no. He is staying with one of those gals from the stream. Are you talking about this stream? He went to jail for not paying child support? I didn't know you'd go to jail for that. Oh, Melty. He streams. Well, he may have said that's what he went to jail for, but you know, if you're just getting that information from him on his stream, then I'd question it. That's fine. That's fine, Fly Guy. I have no problem with that at all. Alright, so we're just gonna smoke this. I'm gonna pull a couple bowls, then we'll wrap it up and we'll go. Okay, sounds good. What do you want to eat? You want to get to Oakhurst after we get your medicine?
I hadn't thought about it.
I'm thinking of things that are reasonably cost effective, like probably. I mean, yeah, if we wanted to sit down at Denny's, I guess we could, but we might not want to sit down because we don't want to get back.
Yeah.
So then we could get food at Vaughn's Deli, or we could look and see what they have.
Yeah. Maybe they'll have some good sandwiches or something.
Yeah, or like, you know, chicken or some other, like, remember when they had those spicy tater tot things we got at Mariposa Market? Those were good.
Oh, those were good.
And then remember we got those little dumplings that time?
Mm-hmm. Those dumplings were good too. I like dumplings.
Yeah.
Yes, I took the Tylenol.
Did the ancients decode reality? Short answer, no. And I've watched a couple of videos lately that are basically making that central claim. And two examples I have provided are quote unquote Hermetic principles, one of which is all is mind, and the other which is as above, so below. These people are interpreting the statement all is mind to mean like they understood that it's all a simulation, and that instead of a person moving through reality, a person creates reality with his consciousness, kind of stuff, you know. Of course, that's not at all what those old-timey people meant by that. Have I seen the show The 100? Yes, I have. Oh, okay, well, good to know, Putty Cat. Fortunately, I don't have any children of childhood age at all anymore. AI is going to be wild. All is mind, as above, so below. People in olden times were extremely conreist? I don't know what that even means. Contritist? Contritist? I don't know what that means. Concrete is missed. Concretist. I see. They're very concrete in their understanding of things. I'm talking to the stream. Yeah, people were quite concrete back in the day, and so when they said like this cracker is the body of Christ, they literally meant that somehow this cracker had become human flesh that they were eating. It seems strange to us now, right? So when you like people are attracted to Gnosticism, but the only thing that distinguishes Gnosticism from, say, other forms of Christianity is that Gnosticism wanted to said essentially that you gained redemption, enlightenment, spiritual attainment of some whatever you want to call it via secret knowledge. So it's kind of like um, Scientology, where you had to work your way up to the highest level before you learned about the incredible secrets of the universe. The thing about that, of course, is it's not a very good way to spread your religion. Uh, to say that, say that I've got this enlightenment because this knowledge is secret, well, then you're not going to want to spread your religion very much, obviously, because then the less secret it becomes, the less enlightened you get, I guess. Your enlightenment diffuses to everybody who knows the secret. So, ancient peoples did deal with these kind of abstract or spiritual kind of questions a lot. It wasn't like they were just dealing with the concrete world. But questions like whether or not like how redemption was attained through Christ, or questions like that, they used to be discussed a lot and considered to be examples of serious philosophy. People did a lot of that stuff. You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm starting to
no,
feel pain. I'm
no
so
problem.
sorry.
No problem. Did you take the 2 Tylenol?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. All right, we're out of here. See you later.